Yeah, hello. I have a HP. Yeah, there's our 19 volts is present on the charger. So this HP is not turning on. There's no any light. There's no any indication of power into the motherboard. On my power supply, it's taking nothing. Put the power button on. Press the power button. Nothing is coming on. So let's try to see what could be the issue. Let me unplug the battery. Let me try maybe to reset the CMOS. Oh, let me first of all open the whole casing. Let me disassemble. Uh, uh, so let's try to take more power to try to see whether the power is getting to the motherboard. Before we conclude, are we having our 19 volts into the motherboard? Oh, 1.6, that's not very good. Yes, we are having our 19 volts. So the 19 volts is getting to the motherboard now. I don't know. That power is not going very far as from what I'm reading from my power supply. The motherboard is drawing no amperes, totally no amperes. So I think the power may not be. Started to worry because now I can see the motherboard is getting some power, but I don't know where the power is. It's not going. Now 19 volts. Where is this power disappearing? From which point are we not getting the voltage? And you know what? I think we may have now to come up with the whole to take the whole motherboard out. This is weird. What is going on? So yeah, our motherboard is out. So let's try to take more voltages. Let's try now to see what could be the issue here. Yeah, sometimes working on this motherboard is not easy. Some of these HP laptops doesn't have schematics, neither do they have board views. Sometimes you have to work with pure electronic knowledge. Maybe the one you have acquired in class or maybe through experience. So let me try to take some voltages, guys. After this, we will go under the microscope. Let me check here. 19 volts. We having 19 volts on this diode. We are getting 19 volts on the diode too. What about this MOSFET? Are we getting anything? We are getting our 19 volts. What about the other side? Oh, we are not getting voltage on the other side. How is this possible? And this is not even a short circuit. The power supply is not recording anything shorted here on this motherboard. Now keep keeps me thinking, what could be the issue? Dry joint, or what can we call this? We have a MOSFET with power on one side, but nothing on the other side. It's not broken. I don't see any physical damage on the MOSFET or on the motherboard. But we're having a MOSFET that is getting power on one side and not draining the power on the other side. I think we should go under the microscope so that you can see this together. And maybe you'll get to understand what I'm saying or what I'm talking about here. Yeah, still working on the cameras. No, I should be having a camera for the power supply for the multimeter. And right now the setup I'm having is not allowing me to have everything being visualized on one screen, but I'm working towards that, guys, don't worry. So yeah, where I'll be having a, like now you see we have the power supply on the top left. Now I need a camera that is going to allow me to have everything under the studio. Right now I don't have that, but I'm working on that. At least now we have a power supply on the top left, guys, so we can take some readings. I need the camera for the multimeter and another camera that is going to allow me to record my table under the same studio. So here we are getting our 19 volts. We have this power, this trackpad going this way, and now up to this diode. On this diode, we're also having 19 volts here. On both sides of the diode, we are getting 19 volts. This MOSFET here, we are getting the 19 volts, but we are getting nothing on this side. You see, here we are getting nothing. The MOSFET does not look damaged. The power supply, as you can see, the charger is plugged into the motherboard. As you can see, the power supply, the amperes are not, it's not drawing any ampere. As you can see under the section of amperes, we have 00. So what is happening with this MOSFET? Maybe we have to remove the MOSFET and try to see, are we having a dry joint? Unless the only thing I would think of is a dry joint where you find that let's try to reflow the MOSFET and see whether the power will go onto the other side. I hope when the power is able to flow on the other side, we won't be having any more issue. And if we will have, we're still going to check out on the same. So let me grab this MOSFET and try to see. I just want to see the other side of the MOSFET, the bottom part. Maybe we are having a crack. Maybe it's cracked. You never know. And this motherboard looks mint. Nobody has ever worked on this motherboard again. Looks like I'm the first guy here. Yeah, the warranty seal was still on. How is this MOSFET looking? I don't see anything wrong with the MOSFET, guys. So should we solder it back and see? We can solder back the MOSFET and see whether maybe the problem is going to be solved. If that is not the case, okay, let me see. When I jump this, when I jump the MOSFET and insert the charger, are we going to have some amperes being drawn by the power supply? Let's see. Okay, I've jumped the MOSFET. Yes, we have some. Look at the power supply on the top left. Yeah, and the motherboard is working. Look, the lights are also on. Okay, it could be a dry joint, as I was telling you. Look, this light is on here. Okay, let me do that again. So I'm using my tweezer to jump the MOSFET. And guys, you have to be very careful so that you don't short the gate and the source, or the gate and the drain. So let me jump the MOSFET from one side to the other and then plug in the charger. Look at the power supply on the top left. On the top left corner there, you'll see it's taking power 0.4 amperes, 0.5 amperes, around 0.5 amperes, I would say. And these lights are on. See the white light and the orange light. I don't know whether should we call it orange light or magenta or the amber. Yeah, those lessons in our class during the zebra crossing, you should check out on red, amber. Some used to call them magenta. I don't know what you call them. Let me know down in the comment section what your teacher told you this was. Okay, let me put it again. So what color is this? Is this yellow, orange, magenta, amber? What is it? I don't know. I would call it maybe orange to me. I don't know. They say men we are colorblind. Still fine. All I needed is a sign to show me that the motherboard is working. Whatever the color is, I'm not so much interested in the color of the light. Yeah, so guys, write something on the comment section and see. Maybe, I don't know, maybe whether I forgot about those things. Was it in primary school? Okay, back to the business. I have another MOSFET here, but it's not exactly like this one. But you see, I've checked the number under the schematics, and that MOSFET is okay. I don't know whether you can see it. But what I'm thinking of is just returning the MOSFET that was here, just to see whether the motherboard will work now. Suppose there was a dry joint, that would mean that motherboard will be back to normal. So let me try to solder this MOSFET back. If it doesn't work, we'll come with this new one, the one that I've just shown you, and then we solder that and see whether we are going to have a working motherboard. Yeah, this one. So, but let us first of all solder this one and see how the motherboard will respond. So guys, these things are very tiny. I know you might think they are quite big. It's because we are checking this under the microscope. And the normal eyes or the bare eyes, these components are very tiny. And if you are that guy if you have shaky hands, sometimes you can end up not being able to solder back this component, or when you're removing one, you end up knocking some more components. So you should make sure you're not shaking hands as much as you can. Yeah, they talk about being drunk. If you are addicted to alcohol, you have to shake hands. And the only way to correct that issue is to take more alcohol in the morning, or maybe before you start doing any job. I don't know whether is it that everybody who shakes hands they are alcoholic. That is not necessarily true. I think so. But it's also true that if you are addicted to alcohol, you will have shaky hands working on our MOSFET is sitting down there the correct way. So let us cool down the chip with some isopropyl alcohol. Is it necessary, or can we just go ahead to testing this? Let me plug in the charger. Or let me first of all Cool it down a little bit, clean a little bit with some isopropyl alcohol. So we are working with alcohol. So does that mean you cannot repair these laptops when you are a drunkard? You also drink the alcohol. You also drink the isopropyl alcohol. That's funny. It's not good for consumption. So let's get that straight. So now let's come up with a charger and see whether this is going to work. Yes, we are still getting zero, guys. If you look at on my power supply, we are not getting anything even after plugging the charger. We're still getting the same readings we used to get, 0 on the amperage. Now we'll have to come with this one. Let's move this one and try to replace it with the replacement MOSFET and see whether the motherboard will come on and stay. Remember, guys, we are not having any short. We don't have any short circuit. Most of the time, when when the power is not flowing from one side of the MOSFET to the other, sometimes the power supply will detect a short. But on this case, we are not getting any short. But also the power is not flowing from one side of the MOSFET to the other. So let's put some plugs and also plug it off again. Let's plug off this chip again and solder now the new one. The EQ chip. Yeah, days are a bit tough. It's not like before. Global economy is things are not okay. So guys, just keep pushing, keep fighting. Yeah. So let's put this. Yeah, I was trying to order a chip the other day and the price was so high, and I bought that chip before. The price has almost doubled. You know, in these international markets, when you're buying something, in most cases you buy in dollars. And that chip was not cheap. Mm. Are you getting? The chip was not cheap. I'm not saying the chip was something else. I'm saying the chip was not cheap. That means the chip was expensive. I hope the message is now home. So are we getting power here? Yeah, on the gate, the gate is high now. The gate is high. Yeah, I think we are okay now on that side. Yeah, it's also okay. The drain, gate source and drain is okay now, guys. I'm getting a voltage under the resistance, under the diode mode. The MOSFET is okay. Yeah, so under the diode mode, I think we should have tested the other MOSFET, and I'm sure maybe the MOSFET was not having a reading on, MOSFET is a form of a diode that should take a reading when you put the probes on one side on the other. You should have a reading, but when we switch, you should not have a reading on some MOSFET. Depends whether it's an N-P channel MOSFET or a P channel MOSFET. And here things looks fine too. Yeah, I have very high hopes that our motherboard is working now, guys. So let's connect the charger now and see. Look at my power supply there. Yeah, we have our amber light, we have our orange light, we have our magenta light. Should I call it yellow? Let me check this light here, this one here, orange, yellow, whatever it is. Check, you see it's on, the power supply, the board is doing some amperes, the amperage is now going up 7. Yeah, now we need to test this motherboard on the laptop and see whether we are going to have a screen. The screen, we are going to have a display. Yeah, our light is back, guys. We have the white and the magenta, the amber, the orange, whatever you may want to call it. That's up to you. So let's check the motherboard under. We get back to the laptop and see whether we are going to have a display. Yeah, this is the best job I've ever done in my life. I've been into other jobs here in Kenya. Sometimes it's not very easy to be employed here, and I think being my own boss was one of the achievement or one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Before I was under some companies, maybe under some bosses, and I didn't like it. I dreamt of having a repair shop, selling computers, selling anything related to computers, iPhones. I like iPhones. I don't deal in the Samsung or the the Huawei, the other. Those one I only repair, but I like to sell iPhones, MacBooks, laptops. I can sell any brand. So if you want a laptop and you want any advice on laptops, depending on what you want to use the laptop for, yeah, I get guys calling me each and every day. Hey, I'm an engineer. I'm an architecture. I want a laptop that I can use to draw the blueprints for the house. Yeah, guys, you'll always get the best advice from me here, from us, and I'll try to direct you to the right laptop, or to the best laptop that will serve for that purpose. Somebody who needs a laptop for document viewing cannot end up buying the same laptop with somebody who is doing video editing, somebody who is doing the architectural designs, drawings. So some guys are doing IT, video editing and architecture. You need a good laptop that has a graphics card. Could be the NVIDIA GeForce, the GTX, or in short, a laptop that is rendering. So let's check. Let's put in the charger and see. So it depends with how you want to use your laptop, or the job, the purpose. Are we going to have a display? We should have a display. Yeah, we are having one here. So that's it, guys, with this laptop. The fan is not spinning yet. I think the processor is not hot enough. So that is it, guys. So like, share, subscribe, and let me know what you think down in the comment section. And guys, continue supporting us through subscribing. Thank you so much for those guys who have shown us support.